South Carolina at Alabama. Alabama is a 21.5-point favorite. 21.5-point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw Alabama lose to Vanderbilt. They are a 21.5-point favorite. Do we have faith in them to just turn around and blow out an SEC team that got blown out last week, but has blown out other teams of quality in the past?
I understand why you just pronounced Vanderbilt like that, because you wanted to emphasize who Alabama lost to. But I also feel like pronouncing it that way is a way of making it feel like Vanderbilt is who are they used to be, right? Like, it's crazy to say out loud, but like, is this Vanderbilt team the Vanderbilt from 3 years ago? And I'm going to ask you a question back. Are you 100% certain that South Carolina is better than Vanderbilt this year?
Not 100%. But I did watch South Carolina whip Kentucky, and I did watch Kentucky beat Ole Miss, and I watched Kentucky play really well against Georgia. So I'm not convinced South Carolina sucks because they lost to Ole Miss in embarrassing fashion.
I don't think that they stink, but I don't think Vanderbilt stinks either. I think Vanderbilt has a chance to win other games this year that might turn your head. So
I agree with you, but Vanderbilt lost to Georgia State. So let's
they did
a little bit on how great Vandy is.
Georgia State's better than Bama. I just want to put that on record. Hey, so this is exactly the same kind of mistake that one of us made last week when we reacted to the Ole Miss Kentucky game and then thought that this South Carolina team was going to give them trouble. I think from a week-to-week standpoint, it's easy to get caught up, and we all make these mistakes. I can't tell you how many times I've bet one way, then changed my mind the next week and lost both on opposite sides.
It's like how you said that Georgia would cover against Auburn, and they didn't.
Right. Exactly. It's hard to get 1 week out of your head because that's what you think. But really, there's no rhyme or reason why these games go the way that they go from a week-to-week basis. So I think that, if Alabama were to play Vanderbilt again later in the season, I would anticipate that their spread would probably be similar to that. Like, I don't think that the math changes that drastically as a result of this. But
Ari, Bama Vanderbilt playoff game not off the table right now. Not off the table.
Vandy has 2 losses. And one is to Georgia State, but they also have, if they run the table. Well, let me tell you this. I don't think it matters if you go 0-4 in non-conference. If you run the table and win the SEC, you're probably going to get in, right? Like, can we just say, like, every single non-conference game from an SEC team is effectively useless because you have the chance to win the SEC? Like, is that fair?
Yes.
But that's fair.
But
Vanderbilt has already lost an SEC game, so they'd have to run the table. If they did, I think they would get in. Honestly, I do. I don't even think it would be a debate.
Vandy, Texas is on the schedule too. Let's not.
What would you do if Vandy beat Texas?
I mean, we would do a video. Yeah, it would do numbers.
I guess the answer to that question would be is we would do a video. But yeah, so I don't know that I'm going to. The thing that is hard about this game, Andy, is the thing that I've said to you, and you've heard me say it 5 times, so I'm going to say it 6, is that I don't think that Alabama lost to Vanderbilt in a fluky way. No. So that's the thing that's hard to shake, right? Like, if you lose a game where you turn the ball over 4 times and have a bunch of dumb penalties and just look like you're sleepwalking and, have a hangover from the Georgia win, like, I understand, like, it's easier to excuse that. What's not easier to excuse is the fact that Vanderbilt was on the same field in a high-powered back-and-forth game with Alabama for 4 quarters and ended up winning because they went out and took it. So, like, that, to me, I can't get that out of my head. And I am genuinely wondering, and I think that it is important to, throw it out there for the people on the show that want to hear this, is, like, are we in a place where the SEC might not be as good as we think it is? Are the 2 flagship programs in this conference this year really good, but not elite, not great? Like, we're going to find out a lot about Alabama and Georgia in the rest of the year. And I think if the answer is that they are elite and they are great and they both end the year with 1 or 2 losses and make the playoff or win the national title, that would be the least surprising thing on the face of the earth. But I don't think that we can 100% remove ourselves or pull back from the notion that maybe, Alabama and Georgia are the 3rd or 2nd best teams or third and fourth best teams in the SEC this year.
Well, you just made all the SEC haters very happy. The great news about this is there will be teams from the SEC that will get to play the teams from the other teams in the playoff, and we'll get it. We'll get our answer. We'll know whether they were overrated or not.
Do you think it's worth exploring whether or not Georgia and Alabama are the third, fourth, or fourth and fifth best teams in the conference that year?
We can explore it when they play the other teams. We'll know.
But do you think it's crazy to think that right now, that it's possible that that's real?
It's possible. But I would say that the last 20 years of history, every NFL draft, probably tell you that's not true. But, I mean, what do I know?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I used to be that person every day of every season for the last 15 years of my life. And last year I was humiliated. So I don't know if I'm just gun shy. I understand Alabama and Georgia have better players than everybody else in the conference, but we'll see about the ability.
I don't think they have that many more better players than everybody else in the conference. And that is why this is all happening. So South Carolina has a decent number of NFL players as well.
Mm-hmm.
They are not as deep as Alabama, but Alabama is not as deep as Alabama has been. And that's why Alabama isn't an automatic just destroy everybody in its path team. This is 3 touchdowns. It is more than 3 touchdowns. Are you ready? Are you willing to say Alabama is going to just annihilate South Carolina in this game?
I am, yeah. I think that Alabama is going to be right back in the top 3 of the polls in less than a month.
All right. I will also say Alabama's bouncing back in this game. I think they're going to cover as well. The Feinbaum calls, if they don't, are going to be just off the charts insane. We may have to listen to Feinbaum today and rank the calls.
Yeah, I think we should do that either way for our own personal entertainment. But if they're really good, maybe we'll record a few and play them here.
Yeah, so we're both taking Alabama to cover here. We might have just fallen into a trap, but I do think they're going to bounce back. I actually still think they're a very good team. I think they may be subject a little more to the ups and downs of the season, but this is a time when they would be up, not a time when they would be down. So